I can use dimensional analysis to convert units and rates in order to understand problems. Here's what you need to know. Dimensional analysis is a problem-solving method that uses the idea that any number or expression can be multiplied by the number 1 without changing its value. So here's an example. I can take 7a, multiply it by 1, and I still get 7a. I can multiply 7a times 5 over 5, which is equivalent to 1, and still get 7a. Dimensional analysis is used to convert one unit to another. We do that by using a conversion factor. A conversion factor is a fraction equal to 1. Just like up here, 5 over 5 is equal to 1. So we're going to use this conversion factor along with what you're given to determine how to get from one unit to the next. Here's an example of a conversion factor. 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. This is a fraction equal to 1 because the numerator and denominator represent the exact same quantity. Just because they look different does not mean that they aren't equal. 12 inches and 1 foot are equal, so this fraction is equivalent to 1. Here are a bunch of conversion factors that we can use. You do not have to memorize all of these. Some of them you probably already know. And when we do the examples, I'll pull up the ones that you do need to know. Let's do an example. How many inches are in 83.82 centimeters? So we are converting from centimeters into inches. That means I need to get a conversion factor that'll get me from centimeters to inches. Here's the appropriate conversion. 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. This is the information that we're going to use in order to answer this problem. We're going to write a conversion factor or a fraction equal to 1. We're going to have two choices. We can put 1 inch on top or we can put the 1 inch on the bottom. But notice that 1 inch and 2.54 centimeters represent the exact same measurement, the same length. So either one of these fractions right here is equivalent to 1. It doesn't matter really which one you choose until you start looking at how we're going to set up the problem. Either one of those fractions is called a conversion factor. You always have two choices, but we're going to choose the conversion factor that makes your starting unit cancel and leaves you with the unit that you're trying to get. So in this example, we want to cancel our starting unit. I want to get rid of centimeters. I want to be left with inches because that's the value that I'm interested in. We're going to always start with what we're given. We were given 83.82 centimeters to begin with, and I'm going to turn it into a fraction by placing it over a denominator of 1. This is just going to help the multiplication go a whole lot easier if we're dealing with fractions all the way across. Now we're going to choose the conversion factor that makes my starting unit cancel. So I want centimeters to cancel. That means that we want centimeters in the denominator in the conversion factor. So you can see that I'm choosing this first option over here because that's going to make my centimeter units cancel once I multiply through. Let's go ahead and do the multiplication step. We multiply fractions straight across. Notice how the centimeter units are canceling and the only unit remaining will be inches. Simplify if needed. Remember that a fraction bar means to divide, so this really says 83.82 inches divided by 2.54. I can plug that into my calculator and get 33 inches as my final answer. Go ahead and pause and try this one. We'll check it together. Convert 50 miles per hour into kilometers per minute. We have two conversions going on in this problem. We have to switch hours into minutes, and we also have to switch miles into kilometers. Obviously, those conversion factors are from the old example. I apologize. Ignore those right here. We're going to use the information in the table to do this problem. Let's start with what we're given. We're given 50 miles per hour, 50 miles over 1 hour. We're going to multiply that conversion factor that makes my starting units cancel. I want my miles to cancel And I'm also going to want my hours to cancel. We have two conversions, two conversion factors. This middle fraction right here is going to be the one that causes my miles to cancel. This third fraction right here is going to be the one that causes my hours to cancel. We're going to multiply straight across. Notice how the miles and the hours cancel out with each other, and all we're left with is kilometers and minutes. We multiply straight across to obtain these numerator and denominators. And fractions tell us to divide. 80.45 divided by 60 gives us an approximate value of 1.34 kilometers per minute. If you want more on this topic, be sure to check out the Learning Target spreadsheet for additional resources, videos, and practice.